States. It's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I'm doing fine. I'm doing fantastic. And I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. Today, we're going to try a little something different. I'm going to read the news, but this is just an article. And it's from the Daily Mail. And we'll go ahead and pop it in here. Here we are. We're going to talk about Harry and Meghan. And what the deal is. I've always kind of stayed away from a lot of the ins and outs and don't really know too much about, but someone had sent me this article and I find it to be very crazy and probably would like a little more explanation on it. So I'm opening the comments to you all to help me out. Let's not be too crazy, of course. I know a lot of you have strong opinions about that, and that's totally fine. It bothers me that a father and a son are distant from each other, and even after the diagnosis, doesn't seem to have brought them any closer, and it hurts. I lost my father 6 years ago, and I miss him every day, and I just can't imagine making the conscious decision to not speak to him or not have anything to do with him. It's hard for me to even fathom. But this woman, Sarah, taking away the Sussexes' titles is the only way to put a stop to their nonsense. So they still have the title, okay? They're just not a working royal, or is that how it's presented? What has King Charles got to lose? Take it all back. Here she says, take it all back following the diagnosis last week. She'd hoped that the health crisis start to bring Prince Harry to his senses. I thought it'd make him understand the importance of family. Yes, maybe see what the pressures of the king has been under, and have some sympathy, and maybe hopefully, be the trigger to get them to mend fences. But after, she continues, but after the Duke and Duchess's latest move of rebranding Archwell website as Sussex.com, complete with coat of arms, I give up, they're beyond redemption. So that I'm not familiar with. Obviously, I'm not searching for them on the internet. I don't know what the Archwell website was even about. No wonder Prince William is believed to have refused to see his brother on his visit to the UK last week. He only had about half an hour. Can you imagine flying from California to London, which is, 10, 11 hour flight, to stay a half an hour with your father? I assume he stayed maybe in London a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure. Man, they must have known this was going to happen, essentially. They must have known Harry's next step, his quest to have his cake and... okay. Yeesh. It seems to me that it's not only a shameless name grab and an attempt to commercialize the title conferred upon them by the late Queen after Meghan married into the royal family, it also goes against her explicit wishes. And her explicit wishes were, I'm assuming that'll get explained. I'd heard from many of you who said they named her child using a name that is associated with the Queen that was kind of a no-no. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. I don't know really too much more about it, but they went against her wishes. Are we talking about something different? Okay, well, here. when they made their sad decision to turn their backs on royal life in 2020, they agreed they would not use their titles for financial or personal gain. Got it. Indeed, they had to mothball their website, SussexRoyal.com. Okay. So now it's just known as Sussex.com. They took out the royal, like that would change anything. And apparently they have a coat of arms that goes with it. And yet here they are, very obviously signaling associated with the institution of the monarchy to promote themselves and their organization on a global stage. Wow. Let us not forget that they both thoroughly trashed, dragged through the mud, an institution they appeared to despise. Witnessed their hobnobbing with prominent Republicans in Jamaica last month. Who were they hanging out with? You'll have to give me a backstory on that. Are there politicians? Are they American Republicans or are they British Republicans? In Jamaica. I'm not sure why American Republicans would be in Jamaica, but one they claim to want nothing to do with and yet can't seem to explain enough. I mean, Harry has always been, okay, well, I don't want to go into name calling. Once again, I was prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt. When he dashed to I heard that he was coming and I was thinking the same thing as her. I was thinking, yay, let's hope that this brings them together and we could start to see, father and son again. But can't help agreeing with those who said it appeared to be just a publicity stunt. Rebranding that he's a member of the family. This is the website right here. Office of Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And there's the coat of arms that she's referring to. His people naturally have hit back. Source close to the couple says Prince Harry and Meghan are the Duke and Duchess. That is a fact. It is their surname and family name, which is like so much that emerges from their camp. Palpable nonsense. Okay. Sussex is emphatically not their family surname. Right, isn't it? Yes, Mountbatten, Windsor. As evidence on Archie's birth certificates. In any case, Sussex is not a name, it's a royal title. Conferred upon them by the late Queen. Dumbarton. Archie himself has a courtesy title, Dumbarton, which his parents have apparently decided not to use in case he gets called dumb at school. Well, I don't know if that's proven, but kids will call. You can only imagine what they used to call me in school. My last name is Masterson. I'll let your imagination go wild. Yes. In fact, I mentioned that to my dad when I heard it, and he's, they used to call me that as well. If they really wanted to be, and I didn't even know what it meant at the time, and then my dad explained it, I was like, hey! If they really wanted to be shot of their miserable lives as royals, if they really wanted to pull all their so-called trauma behind them and start fresh, they would simply style themselves as Mr. and Mrs. Exactly. And be done with it. But of course they won't. Yeah, I imagine they do have some sort of status even here in the States where the royal family, maybe not surprising, is really popular. There's, of course, a lot of Americans who have no idea what it's about. I being one of them. I just knew of them. But after, of course, willing to learn more about your part of the world, I have grown an appreciation and a fondness for them. And as always, regret not starting my channel sooner. So I can imagine there are a lot of, especially in Montecito, which is 20 miles from me, where they live, a lot of celebrities live up there. And so they probably have some sort of gravitas in that, in the entertainment, Hollywood and whatnot. I know they've tried several Netflix deals or something like that that have gone horribly wrong. They're when it comes down to it, outside of the Hollywood community, celebrity status people, paparazzi and whatnot, they're really, I would imagine a lot of people have no idea who they are, to be honest with you. It could also land them in hot water. There's an argument that the abuse of Sussex as a royal title could potentially be in breach of the Companies Act. So there could be some legal action here. Like she said in her opening of the article, you can just take away the title Sussex from them to where they wouldn't be able to use it. Honestly, I don't know how that benefits them here in the States. I'm sure it gets a lift with some people, but I mean, if you know who they are and are familiar with the royal family, you're gonna know who they are or what title they used to have. Since she was a part of the royal family for all about 5 minutes and claims to have been so thoroughly miserable, one can't help wondering why she would want to cling on. Exactly. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of hers at all. And, but I don't know her. I've seen her show, and I thought she was quite good in the show. I'm going to be honest. I enjoyed the show she was in, and I thought she was good in the show. But I don't know who she is as a person. And I've always said, if you're in the royal family, you just need to stay away from American divorcees. It just hasn't worked out well. But I don't suppose any questions of their authenticity matters much to Harry and Meghan. They don't seem to care that the British royal family is a, yes, much loved institution. I agree. It's got to be painful. I mean, I only imagine that the king who, when you strip everything away, he's a father, and that's his son, and it must just tear him up. It's hard to just thinking about my dad. I couldn't. But it happens. It happens. And whether or not he's been manipulated into going the way he's been going, I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility there. Let's see here. Children's book, yeah, apparently. Yeah, she did the podcast. And I think the podcast was on, what is the podcast that has Joe Rogan on it as well? Spotify. And, says it right here. Just read a little bit further. It didn't go well. Their podcast did not do well. They didn't, they dropped them. Yep, right here. It says it dropped them because they're just not interesting people, let's be honest. Like, I guess you take away from their scandal. They're just not, underneath it all, they're just not interesting people. And what are they going to talk about? You can only go, woe is me, so many times. Spotify executive called them grifters. I had never heard that. I don't know. You see this right here? What was it that a Spotify executive called them grifters? Oh, man. That's not good. That's not good. The awful truth now face is their principal currency. Yeah. Because, I mean, what are they going to do? I know once you're not part of the family, you're not getting money from them, right? And so, and I don't have a problem with if whatever happened to happen and however they believed it happened or whether it was true or not, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't really. I highly doubt it happened. But in fact, I would probably say it didn't happen. Let's just say that it didn't happen. How they explain it, but they perceived it. Maybe I'm not going to say they fully made it up. Maybe they perceived it that way. That's how I'll present it. There's probably a possibility. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a possibility that they perceived it that way. On the other side, I don't think it happened at all. But maybe they just perceived and manufactured it. I don't understand the benefit of doing what they're doing unless they thought they could make a lot of money. And they did sign for big contracts with Spotify, 18 million pounds. But now with that canceled, I don't even think it lasted a year, to be honest with you. It says here their Hollywood contacts seem to have melted away like ice cream. And ice cream does melt here in California, as I believe it melts the same in the UK as well on certain days. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl. It was like $9,000 for the cheapest ticket at the Super Bowl. It was hard seats to get. Reality is the latest move smacks of absolute desperation. Okay. And she goes on, let's see here, I'm certain that if the late queen had realized they were going to pull something like this, she would have taken away their titles, as well as divesting them of the right to call themselves HRH. Yeah, it really would have bothered her, I'm sure. It's just, this is terrible. Awful. Anyway, now I know. You'll have to let me know more if what Prince William is believing. Did he really refuse to see his brother? Again, I have a brother who lives in Hawaii, and I love him to death. And again, I have two sisters. Even though they're my sisters, I still love them as well. And I couldn't imagine being away from them or not talking to them. But I guess I'm blessed, and I don't have the pressures of being in the royal family. So there's that. But still, you still can act like a human being, I guess. Because the royal family is human. They are human beings. I have proof. It's just it really hurts to see. Not only is the king have to deal with what he's dealing with, he has to deal with his rogue son. Maybe Harry just feels like being second fiddle, since he has no shot at the throne. I don't know. You see stories of this in many different scenarios of the second child or the middle child or whatever have the issues of not being the favorite, or he feels like he's not the favorite, or that sort of thing. I don't know. You guys I'm sure will help me get a grasp, but this is a pretty scathing article here, and you'll have to let me know your thoughts and any insights of other things too. Is there any of you out there who support Harry and support what they're doing? That usually it's pretty one-sided here, and I imagine most of you are on the side of the king and think what he's doing is shameful. But it's interesting. I've enjoyed this. This is nice to kind of get, because I don't dive into these articles and find out. It's just something different. I hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks so much for coming. If you liked the video and you want to see more of me diving into certain things, maybe not just the royal family and opinion type stuff, maybe news articles or more important, something that's not a video, something that we can dive into the news. I want to get into more news sites. I have a few that people have suggested. I don't know what political stance they're going to take. Obviously, I think I've hit, the last one I did was pretty liberal leaning, which is fine. I'm okay to opposing views, and I'm, willing to have an open mind when I look at these. I have our own news sites. I know how they work. I'm assuming these are similar, but I don't know which one is which. So, but I want to be able to kind of see how the things are, and then kind of compare them to my own media here. I know there's a lot of similarities, though. All right, everyone, have a great day, and we will see you later. All right, take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark, and he's from